Sectoral Policy Division, MITI, Puan Maizura Abdul Rashid from Sectoral Policy Division MITI. Yang berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Madani Sahari, Chief Executive Officer, Malaysia Automotive Institute. Distinguished guests, Datuk-Datuk, Datin-Datin, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the National Automotive Policy Briefing Session. We are delighted to welcome everyone, especially to those who travel distance to be with us today. I am Farhan and I will be your MC for today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Bahagia Datuk Madani Sahari. For those who interested to leave your comment during the briefing, kindly follow the steps in the guide provided earlier. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Madani Sahari to deliver his remarks and to present to us the National Automotive Policy. Please welcome.
Thank you, Farhan. Please, Datuk Zainuddin, please have a seat. Come. Dekat depan ni ada lagi tak? Well, no, it's all occupied. Okay, 5 more seconds. Please take your seat. Firstly, I need to apologize. I've been coughing. Dry cough, no flu, no fever, no nothing, but really the throat is irritating. Somebody advised me to, we go see doctor and we did x-ray of the chest, everything is just fine, but there is one component apparently that I haven't checked, which is the tonsil. So I was asked to go and check my tonsil. There could be something with your tonsil, that you need to remove it or what, to expedite the treatment of this dry cough. Anyway, a very good afternoon. Salam Negaraku Malaysia. First and foremost, thank you very much to everyone for coming to the event this afternoon. As an introduction, this event today is the briefing of the NAP 2018. But one point you have to understand, the briefing today is not the entire NAP 2018. It is just a framework. Yeah. Now remember when we did the NAP 2014, we had engagement one-to-one across many OEMs, but we actually did not brief you the framework. It is only during the one-to-one engagement we brief the framework, and you had to think, you had to really there and then give your feedback about that NAP 2014. And of course, after that, we did a few more rounds of engagement between MITI, MAI, and the respective OEM. So what's different today is we have invited across the stakeholders, the OEM, the vendors, all of you in the manufacturing, as well as those in the after sales and services, meaning those in the aftermarket. So that's why this is even not yet the entirety of the auto industry, but this is an improvement to the NAP 2014. So I'm going to present the framework of the NAP 2018. Now what you need to do is, you can have the slides later on, no point to take pictures or whatever, the pictures could be blur, you can download. I think there's a step for you to download the slides. You need to register, I think one foremost. And then, you can then go back. We are giving everyone 1 month. 1 month for you to reflect the framework, to think about it, to discuss about it. Then after 1 month, we will start the one-to-one engagement. So some will be immediately 1 month after today. Some will be perhaps a month and a half or 2 months after today. We intend to finish the one-to-one engagement before the start of Puasa. The start of Puasa is the 15th of May. So today is, 27th of March. So from 27th of April, we will start the one-to-one engagement. So that will be carried out from the 27th, hopefully, and hopefully we can finish that by the 15th of May. If we need to prolong that, we'll prolong it and try to finish it during the fasting month. Yeah. Now that is the reason, the brief, the introduction, the reason why we are here today. Come guys. Okay, just an introduction. You see on the slide, the one above the Malaysia Automotive Institute, of course the JATA logo, and then the M dots. The M there stands for mobility. Dots stands for digital, optimization, transformation, and services. Meaning that M dots there signify the transformation or the change of our automotive industry from what it is today to the bigger spectrum of mobility. And we'll be talking about mobility after this, yeah? So I just want to share with you the M dots there is actually quite significant. All right. Kat sini you tukar kan? Tukar terus lah. Bila sana tukar, ni kena tukar supaya I tak perlu macam ni. Okay, now we have the NAP. As all of us, I think we all know that the NAP was firstly introduced in the year 2006. Kat belakang boleh dengar my voice. I don't want to speak too loud, then it will irritate more the throat, and then I will be coughing. So the NAP started in the year 2006. The first revision was done in 2009. Then the second edition in the year 2014, okay? And today we'll be talking about the framework for the NAP 2018, all right? So that's the chronology of our national automotive policy. Okay. Now, this is the NAP 2014. There are 6 thrusts, just going back to the NAP 2014, yeah? There are 6 thrusts in the NAP 2014. The strategies, there are 3 thrusts, and direction, 3 thrusts. Is it clear? Clear kan? Direction ada 3 thrusts, and at the strategies, there are 3 thrusts. Now, you see the NAP 2014 focuses on a few things, few big things. Number one, it is really the policy that the government of Malaysia has liberalized the automotive industry. What does it mean? It means that this is the policy that has allowed new investment to come in with a manufacturing license. That's number one. Okay, you need to understand that. Secondly, of course, as we liberalizes the auto industry, all of it is being done in a gradual fashion. Why? Because we understand that if you were to open up, one time, perhaps there are still players within the industry that are not ready to embrace a full opening up. That's why any opening will need to be done in a gradual fashion. Now, because of this gradual fashion, it was necessary for the NAP to enhance competitiveness. And because of the need to enhance competitiveness, that is why we have put, or the NAP has embedded 3 thrusts along its strategies. And these thrusts are the human capital development, meaning making sure that there are enough competencies to work in the auto industry, and there is a roadmap on human capital development. Then there is a supply chain development, meaning a roadmap to improve productivity, to improve efficiency, etc., and so on. And another roadmap on safety, security, and environment. So this were or still are the three trusts to enhance the competitiveness of the Malaysian automotive industry as in the NAP 2014. Now, as far as the direction of the NAP 2014 is concerned, now that we know we are enhancing the competitiveness of the auto industry via the three trusts. So, of course, once you have got this fundamental solid, definitely there must be a direction, or else what's the point of getting ready the fundamental, isn't it? So that's why the directions are three. One is investment, and you all know the investments are very much targeted. It's all targeted around energy efficient vehicles. And of course, we are not just talking about the vehicle itself, which is supposed to be energy efficient, but really the entire supply chain ecosystem that will assist the deliverables of the energy efficient vehicle. So all of these are really strategic investments that are promoted under the NAP 2014. Now, the next thrust would be technology and engineering. Now, given the fact that we are moving into energy efficient vehicle, and given the fact that all of you understand that for a vehicle to become efficient, there is no other way except for technologies to be used and embedded into our cars, into the vehicles. That is why technology, specific technologies, focus technologies and engineering were also part and parcel of the direction in the NAP 2014. And there is a roadmap to implement the technology enhancement in the automotive industry. Now, having done the strategies to enhance competitiveness and attracting the correct investment and investing into the correct technology, then only the next or the last thrust in the direction, which is about market expansion and outreach, meaning trying to move beyond the Malaysian market, trying to export, etc., and so on. So that was how the framework of the NAP 2014 was defined. Yeah. Now you see the boxes, all the small boxes around the bigger box. Say, for example, the red-colored boxes. Red-colored boxes are activities or programs that correspond to the Human Capital Development Trust under strategy direction, under strategies. The blue boxes, those are programs that correspond under market expansion and outreach. The yellow corresponds to technology, etc., and so on. So I'm just trying to highlight that the NAP 2014 is not just a high up policy level, but it includes 6 roadmaps, and those initiative programs, as shown around the bigger box, those are the specific programs. It's not exhaustive, but those are some of the programs that are being implemented to make sure that the NAP 2014 is somewhat grounded and it is being implementable. It is being implemented. Yeah. So you can expect similar things in the NAP 2018. There's framework, but we need to have very specific activities, programs to make sure the achievement of the outcome of the next NAP 2018. Yeah, just a snapshot of our Malaysia auto industry in the year 2017. We have got now 27 vehicle manufacturers, assemblers, you may want to call yourself, I'm not so sure, but we call all of you vehicle manufacturers. We have got 641 vendors. In the aftermarket, there are 53,011 companies. These are dealers, your 2S, the workshops, people selling spare parts, etc., and so on. In terms of workforce, there are 736,000 people that are directly employed by the auto industry. So all of you represent one of the most important sector of the Malaysian economy, given that you guys are employing 700 over 1,000 people, and these are direct employment. These are not indirect, these are direct. So if you times that by 4, close to 2.8 million Malaysians are basically depending on what you guys are doing. So it's an important industry. Last year, the GDP from auto contributed 4%. The auto industry in 2017 contributed to 4% of the Malaysian GDP. Now, if you ask me, what is the GDP contribution of auto industry in Thailand? It is 10%. So if you want to make that comparison, you see how Thailand is, and you see how we are, that one is 10%. Ours is 4%. And we also want to increase our GDP similar to 10%. Okay? So we need to work harder to get that GDP to increase. Now, and then there comes in investment. Okay? Now, since the NAP 2014 was launched, we have received a nice steady stream of investments. By the way, I would like to thank you, really everybody, for the investments that you have made thus far in Malaysia to expand your operation, or even to some are new, building new companies, new factories, etc., and so on, new workshops, etc., and so on. All this investment realized from 2014 to 2017 total to 7.6 billion. And be mindful, there is another berbelas billion, no specific being mentioned. There is another berbelas billion. Berbelas means, Michael, it means more than 10 billion. Okay? For those who are not Malaysian, it means more than 10 billion of investments that have been committed by all of you, that we have captured in our cost-benefit analysis. I think for that, all of you deserve really a clap. Thanks to all of you that this amount of investment, never we have recorded such amount of investment in the auto industry until the government announced that NAP 2014. Now, in terms of localization, the value of localization, meaning the local parts, the businesses that the OEMs are giving to the 641 vendors, from the year 2014 to 2017, 3 years, that amounted to 43.67 billion. It's a huge amount of localization. There's the value of business being given to our 641 vendor community. And another 15 billion have been committed from now until 2022 or 2025. There's another additional 15 billion of parts being committed to be localized in Malaysia. And again, all of that we have captured in our cost-benefit analysis. And after that, the TIV, the TPV, those are common things. I think you all know about it, yeah? So just a snapshot of how important, how big, how your contribution to the Malaysian economy, and we are reflecting it into this quick to see, quick to appreciate a snapshot of the auto industry. Okay. Again, these are many of the programs that we have implemented under Human Capital Development, LPS, or the Automotive Supplier Excellence Program, Asset Program that we have also implemented. Together with you, the Bumiputra Workshop Transformation Program that we have done across over 2,000 workshops, and with dealers. We have also started the Dealership Enhancement Entrepreneurship Program, now reaching 55 dealers. So these are just some of the programs that we would like to share with you that have started from the year 2014. I think this is an important slide, since the vendor communities are here. Vendor development. Let's talk a bit about vendor development. 641 of our vendors, and they represent, in terms of employment, over 1,000 of workers are working in the vendors, in the 641 vendors. Now, if you look, we have categorized the vendors into various levels, and we categorize them from a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. No one, of course, level 1 and level 2 are really low levels, but level 3 are vendors, and this is easy for me to explain to you guys because you're all automotive. Level 3 means CP 1.0, CPK 1.33. There you go, you understand that. So meaning they are very statistically in control, they are stable. That's level 3. Level 4, they have the capability to design process, meaning what? They can design their own jigs and their own checking fixtures, their own gauges. That's level 4. Level 5, they can design their own products. Yeah? So we have got from 2014 until 2017, we see the number of our local vendors that have improved from level 3 to level 4 and to level 5. Okay? But still work to be done because we are targeting by the year 2020 180 of our vendors to reach level 5. So that is a challenge for us right now. But I believe our vendors are fully committed and dedicated to get to that level 5, having a full-fledged product design and product development capability. Yeah, we have talked a lot about Industry 4.0. Perhaps some may not realize some of the vendors and the OEMs have already started their Industry 4.0 implementation. And MITI, through MAI, had facilitated this implementation. And as a result, we can now see the number of designers that have been trained, and this is all CATIA 5 level. These are not only mechanical CATIA, but this is going into electrical and module-based CATIA. So that's pretty high level. Yeah? We have got also the total number of vendors that are using the manufacturing operation management system. We have got workshops, close to 2,000 of the workshops that are using system that we call MAGIS to run the operation in their workshop. We have got 759 engineers that are all being trained under the CAE, of course CAD and then CAE training program. DEP, the Design Engineering Prototype Center, there are 4 centers already being established, and some of the OEMs and many of the vendors are participating in these centers as they do their own design of their process or their product. And we have also the automotive iCloud computing 3D experience with close to 450 of many of the engineers among the vendors and the OEMs are participating in that iCloud initiative. Yeah. So just to round out that the auto industry has already started its journey to move into Industry 4.0. And I think that's well done. I think together with the E&E sector and a few other sectors, these are the sectors that have already started the journey going into Industry 4.0. Now let's talk a bit about outreach. Yeah, we talk about outreach, so let's talk about exports a bit. And these are not vehicle exports, these are part and components exports. You first see the imports. The imports, yeah, it is increasing. The imports are increasing for one reason, because we are getting more of the CKD kit to be assembled in Malaysia, but that presents the opportunity for some of these CKD components to be localized. But we need to start with a CKD kit before even thinking about localization. So it is on an increasing trend. However, the exports of parts and components, the exports are also on an increasing trend. You see from a mere 4.7 billion in 2014, it has shot up to 11.6 billion last year. So really, the vendors, they are there are lots of opportunities now for the vendors to start diversifying their business from not only focusing to supply into the local OEMs, but as well as to start to look into your exports program, either by yourself or you can do it together with a partner, then you can go from there. So trade deficit, now the trade deficit, what used to be 5.8 billion in the year 2014, it started to reduce to 2.7 billion. Then 2016 was really the best year. Trade deficit only recorded 1.4 billion before it shoot up again at 3.6 billion in 2017. And 2017, why it increased? Because of Forex. The number of exports the number of imports in terms of components, numbers, remains the same, but because of the Forex, the value has increased. So we think in 2018, this will be corrected. There will be an auto correction because of the ringgit appreciation of recently. Exports of remanufactured components. We are currently working with 33 companies that are doing remanufacturing of components. There is a roadmap in remanufacturing launched in the year 2014. In the year 2015, we started to work with 10, 12, and finally 33 companies. And we were working on improving their fundamentals for remanufacturing. And in the year 2016, these companies start to export worth 513 million. It's million, it's not billion. And then in 2017, as at November, they recorded 516.4. But as at December, actually is close to 732 million worth of exports of remanufacturing components. So, ladies and gentlemen, remanufacturing is another area that I think the automotive players need to look at. It presents another opportunity, even though it is a different sector, but it is a business opportunity for all of you whom are already in the automotive sector. Now, we talk about EEV penetration. It has been on an increasing trend from a mere 14.1% at the end of 2014, that has increased to 32.6%, then 42.8%, and last year we recorded 52%. And this year we are targeting a 60% from the total TIV cars that are certified as energy efficient vehicle. And again, we would like to thank the OEM for bringing all these new models that are EEV certified and produce them in Malaysia. All of these are just making our environment better. All of these are bringing in new technologies for the consumers, and all of these are really not only benefiting the OEMs in terms of incentive that you receive because you are aligning your production to the government policy, but it benefits the consumers, the public at large. Yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, quite sensitive. But I guess with you guys, it's not really sensitive. And to be honest, it's not sensitive, isn't it? It's a fact. It's really a fact. Car prices have reduced in Malaysia, and that's a fact. Siapa kata ini bukan fact, then maybe kita boleh, maybe we can discuss lah. But it's a fact. It has reduced cumulatively by 13.07% cumulative. Now, what I want to impress upon all of you is that year 2016, that 2.13 minus 2 is actually an increase by 2%. Car prices in the year 2016 increased by 2.13%. The year before that, it has reduced. 2013, 4.97, reduced further by 7%, reduced further by 2.7%. Then suddenly, in 2016, it increased by 2.13%. And 2017, it reduced slightly by 0.52%. Now, what I want to impress upon all of you is, despite, you know why there's an increase of 2.13%? Remember, that year was the year that we were hit by Forex and we were hit by many other stuff. But all of you were resilient all of you were really doing your job. There's an increase, but only a very minimum increase. I think that is an achievement, really. A big applause to all of you, really. That is an achievement, ladies and gentlemen. Given the forex that has increased against US dollars by what? 20%? Yeah? But the increase of car prices was only nominal at 2.13%. I think this is something all of you should shout about. You should perhaps tell more of these stories to your friends, to your neighbors, to the people, so they realize the efforts that you have done to make sure that car prices remain competitive. Don't get me wrong, we are not asking you to make cheap cars. Cheap cars will only have an impact on safety, etc., and so on. We are saying, please do good cars at a competitive pricing. And the way that we are moving, I think we are heading in the right direction. These are the workshop. We talk about the 2,000 over workshop that have been transformed from 2014 until 2017. Now, interestingly, these workshops, ladies and gentlemen, these are all independent workshops. These are not your authorized dealers for the OEMs, yeah? For the 27 OEMs that are here, these are not your authorized dealers, these are independent workshops. So we work with them. Initially, it was a 12 months program. Now we have reduced it to 8 months program. It's a hand-holding, month in, month out with the owner and with the mechanics of this workshop. The whole idea is to increase their revenue by a minimum of 75% and to increase their profit by a minimum of 30%. Most of them have increased revenue and profit higher than what we have targeted. Yeah? So again, it's a good achievement for the workshop community. Again, this is just about public engagement. There are three main events that MITI through MAI undertake on a regular basis, which are the Car Care Week. Car Care Week is something that we are doing with Perodua and Proton, and I hope perhaps this year we can expand it further to other OEMs. What we do is we open a booth, we get assistance from Perodua and from Proton, their mechanics and their technicians will come in, Proton cars and Perodua brands cars will come in and get free inspection. And they will be advised on what needs to be repaired. So that is Car Care Week. And we are doing this around Malaysia. Yeah? Safe Car is another event. We do this together with Myros, with JKJR, MOT, JPJ. Is very much related to giving awareness about the overall cars, the overall safety of a car. Again, Proton and Perodua also participating in this. This is where we actually show, all those, for example, we would show, the difference between a soft metal and a hard metal. We would show the process of tailored welded blanking, for example, and those are the sort of stuff that we share with the public to inform them that how the car should be driven and be safe in a car. Then the Malaysia Auto Show. Last year was a very good year for us. That was held in November 2017. This year, ladies and gentlemen, the Malaysia Auto Show will be held in April, the last week of April. And it is starting from this year, our auto show will always be in April. It's no more in November. The reason being is many of the international auto shows are being held during the last quarter of the year. So if we do ours in November, they cannot participate. So some of them had expressed interest to participate in our auto show, and therefore we have moved our auto show to April, starting from this year. This year it is again going to be held at MAEPS, and this year the theme will be more towards, last year was already experiential, but this year we are going to enhance further the aspects of experiential, the aspect of have a feeling when you are in the car, when you are driving, and also have a feeling about what are all these features that I have in my car. So that will happen from the 26th of April until 30th of April. So just to show the numbers of people that we've engaged across the years. So there's about 1 point something million, the total. There's no total there, but the total is about 1 point something million. Okay, so that's NAP 2014, just a snapshot of the NAP 2014. So in conclusion, NAP 2014, there are achievements, many achievements. There are still areas that we need to work on. For example, exports of vehicles. By the way, exports of vehicles had increased, coming from the like of Perodua, Mazda, Subaru, BMW is also starting, coming from even Go Auto, and coming also from Proton. So many of the OEMs have now switched their business plan to include that export component from Malaysia to some countries in ASEAN, and even some, Volvo as well, even some are moving to export into non-ASEAN countries. So these are really a big improvement, a big achievement for Malaysia. Thank you very much. Now, so next is the NAP 2018. Now you have got a snapshot of what is NAP 2014. Now let's move into the framework of the NAP 2018. We have done a benchmark study, and this study we have done across several markets. Obviously, the Americas, comprising US, Mexico, and Canada. The Asia, or the Asia, China, India, South Korea, and the ASEAN countries, as well as Europe, Germany, France, and Sweden. Okay, if you were to ask me, we didn't do it in Australia because there's no more auto industry in Australia. So we focus on all these countries. Then at the same time, we also did benchmarking across the OEMs, the key OEMs, the global OEMs, as well as key parts and component vendors in the like of Bosch, Continental, Siemens, Denso, etc., and so on. Yeah, many benchmarking were being done. Then we actually classify all this benchmarking across energy, across taxation, across trade, across specifications, mobility, sector, technology, etc. So that's how we have done a benchmarking to understand where is the world heading in the sphere of automotive industry. Where are they heading, and where should Malaysia be? Where should we position our auto industry given what we have accomplished in the NAP 2014? So we've summarized let's take a break. So based on the benchmarking, we have summarized the next way forward, or the next step in the auto industry will evolve around 4 pillars. And these are the 4 pillars I need you to really take note and ask questions or sit on it or for the next 1 month. Yeah? Really need to focus on the 4 pillars. Number 1 is next generation vehicles. I will explain later what it means. You have understood probably. Mobility, industrial revolution, or this is the industry 4.0. And lastly, artificial intelligence. Okay, the 4 pillars of the NAP 2018. Let me explain. Before anything else, I would like to literally, I would like to use the word. I'm insisting for you to understand one thing. We are not, and I repeat, we are not abolishing NAP 2014. We are not. We are continuing the NAP 2014. However, we are adding into NAP 2014 the 4 pillars: mobility aspect, next gen vehicle, IR 4.0, and artificial intelligence. This NAP 2014 plus the 4 pillars will make up the NAP 2018. Am I clear? Okay, so don't say that we will not continue the human capital, supply chain, CBA, whatever. No, all this will continue, but it will be further enhanced, taking into consideration the 4 pillars: mobility, next-gen vehicle, AI, and Industry 4.0. Now, let's talk about the 4 pillars. Let's talk first about the next generation vehicles, or in short form, I would call it next-gen vehicles. In the NAP 2014, we have put focus on EEV, okay? And we have talked about EEV. And again, I would like to insist that EEV is not only about EVs. Remember, many of the OEMs that have came forward to expand their business still evolve around ICE, internal combustion engine, still evolve around hybrid. Actually, as of today, no one has started looking into EV so much. Perhaps there will be 1 or 2 in the next, in the soon to be future. So EEV in the NAP 2014 really referred to energy efficient vehicle coming from either is an ICE engine, either is a hybrid, either is a PH plug-in hybrid, either is a battery EVs, or even fuel cell. So what I'm saying is, if you come in with a business proposal across all of these powertrain technologies, and you meet the specification as defined as EEV, well, that's EEV, okay? The difference into 2018 is all of these vehicles will become more intelligent. Actually, vehicles now are already intelligent, but we're just saying that it will become more intelligent, more and more intelligent. And this intelligence is what going to translate mobility in a different manner. Yeah? So, when we talk about EEV plus intelligent mobility, that will become the next gen vehicles. All right? Now, I like to insist as well, under intelligent mobility, we are not just focusing on vehicles, on cars, on commercial vehicles, on motorbikes, on buses, and so on, but we are also including things like unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, and drones. Because I think all of us understand that UAV, in the future, it will become part and parcel of mobility. If not as, if UAV or drone, if not being used to transport human beings, us, it will at least be used to transport products and services. So that is also a form of product. So that is part and parcel of intelligent mobility, okay? And all of that is part and parcel of next-gen vehicle. Of course, including automated vehicles, autonomous vehicles. That is also part and parcel of a car getting more intelligent, and that falls under intelligent mobility, okay? So that's next-gen vehicle. The second pillar is mobility. Okay. Now, next-gen vehicle, the one earlier, is really very specific on products, isn't it? Something that you can see and feel. It's really a car. And I'd just like to also say that now we call our car a car. But in the future, that name, that thing that we call a car, in the future may just be called differently. In some of the literatures, there are already a drive that says, let's just call it a black box. Seriously, you know? So we still call it a car, but in the future, when that car is equipped with mobility, equipped with connectivity, you can basically live in that car. It won't be called a car anymore. It will be called a black box. Some say lah, you know. But anyway, the thing here is, in the future, that vehicle, that platform, that box will transform because of the enabling factors that are to do with connectivity, that are to do with all this autonomous driving, etc., and so on. Now, what does that got to do with mobility? Now, the thing is, here is the thing. I would say the name that we need to remember is Mobility as a Service, MaaS, Mobility as a Service. Now we have got Grab and Uber. Grab and Uber are using ICE cars, hybrid cars that are now the current cars, the cars that we know. The difference is they are providing a service that enable these cars to be mobilized, isn't it? So that is the difference. That's Uber and that is Grab. Now, mobility as a service, Uber is an example, Grab is an example. We are saying that this mobility as a service will expand in the future, especially when cars get automated, when cars get autonomous. This service will basically expand out of our head. One example. I live in Shah Alam. When I come to Miti, I drive my car. And I'll take the Kesas Highway NKVE, then I'll come to Miti. Now, given if I can provide logistic as a service, let's say I will drop by at McDonald's, the McDonald's at NKVE. I just go there, pick up a package, and deliver this package to my trade office beside Miti, then only come to Miti. That is a service. Now, of course, currently, it's difficult. Number one, no one is doing it as a service. And number two, I'm driving my car. Now, imagine if I don't have to drive my car, given the fact that the car is autonomous. I can do a lot of things in the car. For example, meeting starts at 9. So I need to be at meeting at 9. But when everybody is on autonomous driving, perhaps this meeting can start at 10 because we can actually do a pre-discussion in an autonomous car since the fact that we are no more driving. Services are being provided that we can actually do a pre-discussion or even a complete entire meeting in the car while we are being driven. And because the car is self-driving, so we can actually pick things along the line. We can do many things along the route going to Miti. So that is mobility as a service. That is what literally it means. Of course, examples that we are putting there. Car sharing is one of the examples. Car sharing, bicycle sharing is another example. Person-to-person car rental, fleet and ride sharing, autonomous transport system, multi-modal transportation system. All of this. That's why people say in the future, you need not to buy a car. You know why? Because people assume that in the future, when all these services are provided, some companies will have a fleet of cars and they will provide this as a service. So every time I want to go to Miti, all I need to do is just get this service to come in front of my house and drive me to Miti. Yeah, it's a service. So of course it's the same like Uber and Grab, but the difference here is as connectivity gets more in the car, you can do many more things in your car while you are being driven from point A to point B. Let me take an example of LPS. We go to a factory and we want to make it lean. And how we do it, we will reduce wastages, isn't it? We will reduce wastages and make it lean. And that will enhance productivity. You know how wasted all of us are because we are not optimizing the time that we are in the car? That's not lean. We are wasted. Not wasted as drunk, But seriously, so that's how now in the future, this lean as in the process is being looked at as lean being you optimizing your time. And this can only happen when your lifestyle can be suited while you are being driven. So what I meant is, in a house, when you have got full connectivity, you can do work. When you can watch Netflix with a big TV, LED TV and whatnot, you can enjoy family time. And those are the values of us as human as we live our life, right? Now, as you move around, by the way, you spend probably 30-40% of your time, of our time, in moving. So this 30-40% of our time are currently being wasted because we are not living our lifestyle. We are not living our value as what we want to do because the car that we are driving doesn't enable us to do as such. Mobility in the future will allow all of us to live that life even though we are being transported in a black box or in a box from one place to another place. Yeah? So all of that will change. So that is mobility as a service. Now, imagine, I've said this already, imagine cars that are autonomous. Imagine when cars can fly. Of course, flying cars is not going to come in the next 10 years. I can tell you that. There are already prototypes. The problem is not about prototype. The problem is not about technology. The problem is about regulatory framework. Yeah? Already cars on the road are facing numerous number of accidents. Imagine cars when they are flying. Couldn't imagine the rate of fatality that will happen. And imagine non-maintained flying cars drop on your rooftop. Sebab apa? Sebab kita even our cars now, we maintain lebih kurang kan, So imagine we can't maintain our flying cars. So imagine that. So it will not take off in the next 10 years. But autonomous driving will take off. Autonomous driving. Many parts of the developed countries, level 3 is common. There are already countries talking about a regulatory framework. This is the legal aspect of introducing autonomous driving in their country. And Malaysia, NAP 2018, we need to take into respect this movement of autonomous driving. Of course, Industry Revolution 4.0, or call it Industry 4.0, this is an enabler. Industry 4.0 is an enabler to the things that I've said earlier on. The other thing here is, Industry 4.0 not only will enable cars to be smarter, to be intelligent, and therefore we can live our life, as I mentioned, in a car, but Industry 4.0 will enable the processes that our vendor community are currently doing to get themselves to be aligned to the new specification that is required of an intelligent car. So, Industry 4.0 is really an enabler hitting both angles of process as well as product as well as services. So, Industry 4.0 is a big enabler, and by the way, all of these are happening because of this Industry 4.0. Artificial intelligence, the fourth pillar of the NAP 2018. Now, earlier on we talked about living our life, maintaining our value, maintaining our lifestyle in a car. Now, all these cars, even the current gadget, our handphones, all of it have AI embedded into it without, maybe some of us do not realize it. Yeah? Now, AI is just going to become more and more important. You know why? Because that mobility as a service that we are riding on, and that I said we will live our lifestyle in that mobility, it has to evolve. That lifestyle, you see the thing is, now we, how should I say, we WhatsApp because there is WhatsApp. So remember 10 years ago when there was no, 15 years ago when smartphone wasn't that smart. We couldn't do many things. So a smartphone is merely just for calling and SMS, if I can recall. But now, smartphones can do so much better. The thing is, what I'm trying to highlight here is, because smartphones are there, because of this technology, has it changed the way that you live your life? It did, isn't it? All of us, without realizing it, without knowing it, all of us have changed the way that we live our life because of smartphone. Now, how do we know the next level in that mobility? What is that next lifestyle that we want to become or we want to experience in a car? AI will come in. The OEM and the vendors, there will be an AI being embedded in cars, in smartphones. Look, the moment you are connected, there is an AI that is evaluating your behavior. So all these are being, we call it machine learning, machine learning. All of your machines, equipments, the moment they are all embedded with an artificial intelligence, it will learn, self-learning to understand more about you, about all of us, about each individual, to understand our behavior, to understand what we like, what we don't like, the food that we like, the kind of person that we are, etc. and so on. And you know why? Because all these inputs will be used to redesign the mobility that is more suitable to our lifestyle. And lifestyle will just get more modern, more complex, more more complex is the correct word. And all mobility in the future will be enhanced to be in line with the higher level of lifestyle complexity. All right? So that's AI. So of course AI, there's a front-end AI, like our smartphone, but at the back end, there's all kind of simulation, big data calculation, etc. and so on, that will basically determine, and this will enable us to make the right decision in terms of how we want to live, how we want to become, how I want to spend my time, my day, etc. and so on, yeah? So we have got the 4 pillars. So I want to resume the 4 pillars. Next gen vehicle is a product, something that we can see. Next gen vehicle is embedded within the bigger mobility of things. Yeah? Within the bigger mobility of things. The big enabler to all of this is the Industrial Revolution 4.0, and ultimatum artificial intelligence will enhance further the design, the features of mobility of next-gen vehicle, all be enhanced because of that machine learning being embedded, because of the artificial intelligence being present in the things that we use, in the cars that we move in the equipment that we are deploying, etc., and so on. Yeah? But the other pillars, you don't have to look into it. Okay, now, back NAP 2018. Well, perhaps I shouldn't call this NAP 2018, no? Because we said NAP 2018 is NAP 2014 plus the 4 pillars. So this is just the 4 pillars, yeah? This is just the 4 pillars. But what I want to impress upon all of you here is, you see there are, you know, the smaller dotted, the smaller boxes. Those black ones and the red ones. Now, the black ones, I mean, all of these are enablers to the 4 pillars, enablers. So what I want to impress upon all of you is, the black ones, the black small boxes are already in the phase of being implemented, while the red ones are still being planned to be implemented. So what I'm saying is, MITI through MBI, the Malaysian government, understand, for the 4 pillars to move forward, for this NAP, the new measures to move forward, Malaysian government need to enable. And we have agreed already to start all these enablers, these small boxes around the 4 pillars. These are all enablers. I give you an example. One of the enablers is an automated vehicle test bed. So we are going to have a test bed that will understand how autonomous vehicle is going to behave in the context of a Malaysian infrastructure. Number one. We will have an EV interoperability center. This center is a center that will understand how future induction charging are by-wire charging, wireless charging, and how wireless charging will adapt in the context of Malaysian infrastructure. So all of that need to be validated given the environment that we are living in, and etc. and so on. Yeah. So these are enablers. Of course, there are many other enablers, but I'm highlighting the fact that the NAP 2018 policies, measures have yet to be finalized, waiting for feedbacks from all of you, but enablers have been defined. But of course, if you do think that you need government to start other enablers, you are more than welcome to inform that to us. Next. Now, where's the way forward? So today in this room, there are people from insurance, from the banks, from vendors, OEMs, reman, etc. and so on. Now, these are the few things that when you go back, you need to think about it. Say, for example, those people from the insurance company. How do we think that insurance mechanism or insurance policy need to be tweaked given the bigger aspect of mobility? How financing is going to be affected because we don't buy cars, we are using fleet, for example, and therefore there might be less business in hire purchase. So banks have lower revenue coming from hire purchase. So is that going to be a problem to our banks? When banks are affected, will that be a problem to our economy? Something to think about. Yeah? Government assistance, this is straightforward. Given the direction, the 4 pillars that I talk about, now all of you wants to move forward, aligning yourself to the 4 pillars. What do you need in order for you to move along the 4 pillars? Okay? Etc. and etc. 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 Those are just it's non-exhaustive pointers in terms of what we would like to hear from all of you as you go back later on and you come back and say what are the assistance policy, what are the policies required, what are the assistance required, what are the facilitation required, what are the framework that you think need to be drafted and implemented, etc. and so on. Yeah. So really, this is really a takeaway slide for you all to go back and discuss, brainstorm, and in a month time, we'll start that one-to-one engagement to understand what are your needs so that you can align your business plan to the additional pillars of the NAP, which now we call the NAP 2018. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the last slide. So, I think let's open for Q&A, for clarification, and let's be informal about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for Q&A session. If any one of you would like to have some question, you can proceed to the microphone nearby and introduce yourself.
Ada soalan tak? Actually, there are a few questions coming from online. You know, we actually open this to, there's a live feed coming from here, and there are questions coming from the public. Well, I guess they're not here kan, so don't tanya soalan. So you all, maybe I should prioritize all of you first. Ada soalan tak? Clarification lah, bukan soalan sangat sebenarnya. Is clarification in the 4 pillars and so on. Encik Razman, you say something? Yeah, please. Encik.
Thank you, Dato' Malini. I think this one is very important for us to move forward. Because for this NAP 2018, we need really need your feedbacks on this thing, because we are still finalizing all this thing, but this is the moving forward for our industry. However, like just this our colleague just now, Datuk Manali mentioned just now, that we move to that direction. However, based on we still what happened on the NAP 2014, and then we still be there. So the feedback from the industry is crucial here for us to move forward, because this time you can propose any views for us, or in terms of a good one or the bad one. This is the time before we finalizing this thing. We don't want after this you say that you don't take in any consideration of our views. So this is the thing. This is the session for us to interact between us and also the industry players. So thanks. Anything? Yeah?
Okay, first question. Mana?
The four pillars. Is there any time frame? That's first question. Number two, there are so many activities or program. Do you have any program or item that you prioritize so that the industry will be in line with MAI or the government policy? There are so many. Yeah? So, for example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G will be implemented, prioritized for year 2018, 2019. So for that, the industry will jump in to support, to work together, or else they will find difficulties to find which one to embark.
Dengar je kan soalan Datuk Azmi ya. Well, you know, in a liberalized market, government do not dictate. The government should not dictate what is best for the industry in terms of your business plan. You should know what you want to do. You should do your own market survey, market analysis, and you are the one that should drive what is viable for your business in the future. Now, the only thing that we are doing is this one. No. Bagi yang enabler tadi tu. The last slide. So Dr. Azmi is referring to these activities. Now, these are not business activities. These are enablers to make sure that, for example, I told you just now about autonomous vehicle testbed. I'm sure there are one or two of the OEMs that want to bring into Malaysia an autonomous car. But what they need from the government now is to understand whether their technology can be adopted in the context of our infrastructure. And therefore, government is initiating already a testbed. So who wants to bring in autonomous? You are more than welcome to become our partner in using the testbed facility. Okay? Another example, EV. Those of you who wants to bring EV, actually EV ni bukan hanya EV, even hybrid, charging for that matter. You know, induction charging is not only meant for EVs, it even can be used for hybrids. So those OEMs wanting to produce hybrid EVs, and you want to explore a new method of charging, of which you have got that method already in your principal company. But you just want to confirm whether it is adaptable, the adaptability in the context of Malaysian environment is okay ke not okay. So you need some level of a test bed, you need government to come in because it will involve many other ministries and agencies to be part of your validation plan. So these are enablers. All of these are enablers. There is no prioritization, Dato' Azmi, there is no prioritization. We do all of it. So who needs what? You just ambil je lah. If you need EV, then you take EV. If you need whatever, then you will fall into that particular enabler. The thing here is, if your enabler is not available here, you have to tell us. So in 1 month time, it's not just about telling us what you think should be the assistance in form of policy, but you should also include the form of enabler that you need to bring your business plan alive in according to the NAP 2018. Yeah? So I think, perhaps I did not explain earlier on properly that all these small boxes are not projects, these are not business activities, these are enablers that are being initiated by the Malaysian government through MITI. Other questions? Ada soalan, I just read you some of the questions. Are there any efforts being carried out to make, no, I can read actually, no problem. You don't have to make it big, I can read. Yeah. I'm still not that old. Are there any efforts being carried out to make compulsory certification for mechanics and technicians? As this particular time, the answer is no. But in the future, yes. I think Capital KK is already looking into this. There's another question. Is there any possibility to review the NAP 2014? Well, this is the time, because NAP 2018 consists of both 14 and the 4 pillars that makes 2018. So, actually that's a good question. If there are views on how the NAP 14, the earlier one, policies and measures to be enhanced, I would say this is the time to do it. Excellent question. There's one question from bawah lagi. Pergi bawah. No, yang Alagasan tadi tu. Not going to mention name. Is Alagasan here? Tapi tak tahu lah whether this Alagasan from yeah. Is this you? Okay, great. So, thank you, Mr. Alex. The briefing on the framework is comprehensive. The 4 pillars is indeed the way forward. The question is the industry must be included in the promoted list to enjoy incentive. Currently, it is not in the promoted list. Well, now the automotive industry, we don't put it in the promoted list. Number one, the auto industry enjoys a customized incentive, and customized incentive is really depending on. Customized incentive is based on what the business plan coming from the stakeholders is all about. Meaning customized incentive, in our opinion, is most suited to customize it in accordance to what you want. Okay? Now, promoted list, I know there are some sectors being in the promoted list, but either you are in a promoted list or you are in a customized incentive, you can still enjoy the same incentive. What? Sama juga the same ITA. MIDA still process automotive punya ITA, pioneer status and whatnot, even though auto is not in the promoted list. Promoted list, yalah, betul lah. Kalau, for example, MIDA does a lot of annual promotion program. So normally they will do it in accordance to what being promoted in the list. But when they go to Germany, when they go to Japan, for example, and they know these are countries having strong foothold on auto, they promote auto as well, even though auto is not in their promoted list. So it's okay. It's not a problem. Okay. Any other questions, please?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Saya Rosani daripada Nazar Bikes. So basically kita JV dengan principal. Jadi kalau principal dia nak invest dekat Malaysia, so basically dia akan tengok kita punya neighbours. So macam NAP 2018 banyak pada intelligence punya mobility vehicles, but apa pendapat Mai? Macam kita punya neighbours, dia punya requirement is below than us. So is reflect pada kita punya principle lah. Itu saja. Terima kasih.
Yeah, so okay, betul lah. You know, how's the best way to respond to this? Malaysia, we need to make our footprint highlighted or recorded. Recorded meaning understood by the global community. We need to be at the forefront of what we are doing now in auto industry, as well as other industries that that MIDA is promoting. You know, the industries in the promoted list that MIDA is promoting, they are promoting it to the front level. We didn't follow. MITI, MIDA didn't follow they did not follow what is the trend or what is that list in our neighboring countries, and therefore we need to be together with them. No, it is all about what are the things that we need to do to be at the front liner. You see, I do understand some OEMs, you depend on your principal. We do understand that. So, we do understand that not all OEMs can concur with our policy. But we are at least sure that we are at the front in comparison to our neighboring friends. But more importantly, we are preparing our supply chain, align them to the global supply chain. Now, of course, OEMs, what used to be just focusing on Malaysian market, now some of the OEMs are using Malaysia to some level to export their vehicles within ASEAN and some outside of ASEAN. That started with the NAP 2014. So when we started, or when we launched the NAP 2014, and when we say that we are going to liberalize the auto industry, actually many of the pertinent questions asked, who else is going to invest in Malaysia? Thailand is the Detroit of Asia. But I've told you already that after the NAP 2014, we recorded the best investment figures for this particular sector. Meaning, we understand not all OEMs will go align with what we are doing, but at least we are in control of where we want the supply chain to head. And when I say supply chain, I'm actually referring to the vendor community. I'm referring to the after-sales people. You know, OEMs, they are big boys. They should know where they want to head, what they want to do. They should know. You know, government shouldn't be, you know, detecting OEMs and so on. They are big boys. They are big players out there. They should know. And furthermore, all the big boys, as you have seen in the benchmarking slides, all the big boys, either in Europe or either in Japan, Korea, and China, are all moving into the 4 pillars. So, by us at the frontliner enabling the 4 pillars in terms of not only infrastructure, but also in terms of enabling the real deployment, we hope that Malaysia will be seen as the country of choice insofar as the NAP 2018, insofar as the 4 pillars, insofar as the mobility as a service is concerned, and make us as the preferred destination for them to invest, for them to do their business. Alah, ni something macam Singapore lah kan. Singapore banyak kan orang, look, market tak ada tapi they still go to Singapore for whatever reason kan. You see? So kalau kita nak rationalize, there's no market in Singapore. Why is Tesla setting up dia punya dealership in Singapore? What the heck? Berapa je yang dia nak jual Tesla kat Singapore tu, but why they choose Singapore? So sometimes OEM decisions are not purely based, are not only based on market, there is based on many things. Okay, so we know for Malaysia, with a 30 million, now 32 million population, we can never beat Thailand, Indonesia in terms of our domestic sales. But we know that making Malaysia as a technology hub, and we know for that matter that automotive is the sector that demands technology. If there's a sector that eat, sleep, right on technology, is you guys, is the automotive sector. This is the one that sleep, eat, dream about technology, and therefore, at least kalau kita bukan menjadi the production hub of whatever, we become the technology hub of ASEAN, and technology hub will create job opportunities bigger than just operators. This will create engineers, designers, technologists, you know, scientists, etc. and so on. Yeah? So I think there's a bigger thing that we need to look at.
Assalamualaikum, Dato' Akbar from Honda Malaysia. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the MAI conducting such, not to say forum, but town hall session to brief the auto industry and involve us in the coming up with the Automotive 2018 NAP policy. Again, I would like to ask a simple question, but not to say question, I will say a more suggestion. That I do fully understand that MAI is trying to do, or Malaysia government is trying to set a footprint to go ahead from the neighboring country, for example, Thailand or even Indonesia. You know, they have bigger, way bigger expansion that they can see in the auto industry. But if possible, if Mike could actually, and today, for example, from the briefing that we could see that, involve a lot more on the mobility, next generation vehicle industry revolution, as well as AI. These are all pretty much advanced to me. Even me, I think I consider myself as kind of advanced person as well. But, even me, I could see that it's pretty much advanced. So what is the market requirement at the moment? I think it's supply and demand. We can produce. We've been producing hybrid in Malaysia, but what is the demand in the market? If Mike could share a little bit of data, of course, we on our side also we do conduct studies to see that what is the trend in the market, what is the requirement from the market itself. As we may know that currently in Malaysia, if you talk about the automotive industry, it's still mainly focusing below 100,000 market area. That is the biggest chunk of the market. So if MAI could actually share sort of data to the industry, I think we could also convince our headquarters to say that, hey, look at Malaysia, there's a huge potential in Malaysia rather than, just only on direction. I think it's a chicken and egg story. If there is a market, definitely we'll be more than happy to put more investment in the Malaysian market. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Akbar. Yeah, we can share the information with you. Just on a general, on the general aspect, let's talk about connected vehicles. Okay, not autonomous vehicle, connected vehicles. Globally, vehicles connectivity. What I meant by connectivity is, GPS is a form of connectivity. You can connect your vehicle to as long as there is a communication form of equipment tools, as long as, by the way, yang the UN regulation under EMS. EMS kan Syarul? EMC, sorry. Under EMC, kan? Many of you guys are getting your vehicle to be tested or to be validated by JPJ under the UN regulation meant for EMC. Yeah. So EMC is actually connectivity. Yeah. So what I'm saying is 12% of Malaysian cars, and that's the data that we got, 12% of Malaysian cars are already to some level being connected. Of course, there are models having 27 features of connectivity. These are high-end models. There are models having only 5 features of connectivity. But roughly, about 12% of Malaysian TIV last year possess some form of connectivity features. So that is 2017. Imagine 2020. Imagine 2022. Imagine 2025 when Japan has announced that they are doing this autonomous vehicle level 3B for Europe, but level 4 for Japan in the year 2025. So, and you know, autonomous vehicle means the level of connectivity will be, at a level where the car can basically recognize anything that is around the car. Yeah. So, you want the data is about that 12%. We can share more with you specifically within the sectors that you are in. Okay. But the overall idea here is, without realizing it, the auto industry is already moving into an intelligent vehicle. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions? We have until what time, yeah? Oh, habis dah? Oh, ya ke? Oh. Oh, 3:30? Oh, ingat pukul 4. Oh, habis dah. Okay. Well, sorry, time's up. So anyway, please, joke aside, please upload. Macam mana dia nak upload? Can you explain? Yalah, explain je lah. Explain je lah, just go there and explain supaya...
For your information, you can self-download the slide presentation by submitting the post-briefing survey online first, and then you can get the slide presentation after that.
So you got to submit the survey first, then you can upload the slides. You see, that's how lifestyle is changing, you know. You want this, you got to put that, you got to put a survey. So anyway, again, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you, all of you, for spending your time here today. And we hope that you will go back and we can start the one-to-one engagement approximately 1 month time from now. And for those of you who has other clarification questions, please, not only during today's event, but please come forward to us later in the day, tomorrow, next week, and so on. You know, we are more than happy and more than glad to receive questions and to discuss and answer those concerns from all of you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
By the way, the government agencies is invited to join separate session at 4 p.m. at seminar room 2 level 1.